probably I had warned you, for the very last stitch of the repeat, even though our stitch was white, we wanted to start the next round with blue, so you have to finish the stitch out with the blue yarn. If I didn't do that or you didn't catch it, make sure you switch it now so that we can work with the blue yarn and carry the white yarn. We are on round 20. 2 rounds left to finish out this little bit of the pattern. So the last one was kind of evenly spaced, you know, 1, 3, 1, 3. It's not as good this time, but not terrible. We're going to start with 1 blue. So remember, all the blue stitches are always back loop only. So 1 blue, switch to white, and hopefully you're seeing this again when we're doing a stitch after a white from the previous round. That white stitch has to be both loops. So this one is both loops. So 1 blue, 1 white. Now we've got 3 blue. 1, 2, 3. We're going to switch to the white. We're going to have 1 stitch with the white, and again, since it's coming after this white one from the previous round, we're going to do both loops for the white. Now 2 with blue. Followed by a white. That's our last white. And you notice we're going into a white stitch, so you can do both loops, but back loop only is fine, which is what I would prefer, or what we should do. So that's there. You notice we started with a blue, we're ending with a white, which means I have to go back to my blue at the end of the repeat, and actually at the end of the very last repeat to move on to the next round, you are also going to go back to blue. So you're going to switch at the end of every single repeat, including the very last one. So the pattern is, once again, we got a blue, a white through both loops, 3 blue, a white through both loops, 2 blue, a white. So one more time. Need to grab a little bit more yarn here. We have blue, switch, white both loops, switch, three blue, 1, 2, 3, switch, a white both loop, switch, not 3 this time, but 2, 2 blue, switch, and just a back loop white stitch. That's the only one we need there, so we are going to switch back to the blue to finish the repeat, but that's what we have. So once again, 1 blue, remember this is where my repeat's actually starting, so 1 blue, 1 white through both, 3 blue, 1 white through both, 2 blue, just a plain old white. Switch to blue yarn at the end for this repeat and the very last repeat. That's twice, you need it 6 times total. After that, we've got 1 round left of this little curly Q pattern we got going on, and then that's it. All right, this is where we finished off the last round, which was round 20. I gave you the heads up saying on the last stitch you wanted to switch to blue, so hopefully you got that. If not, go ahead and undo that stitch and make sure you switch over to the blue yarn so we can start round 21. Last round with the white, going back and forth, and I know right now it's just sort of a hodgepodge of stitches. This next one will connect them up, but it's the round after that where we just do blue that it usually starts to show up a bit better. So one more round with the pattern, one round after that, and you'll actually be able to see it better. So this round is a pretty simple pattern. It's just going to be 6 blue and 3 white, and the first white's going to be through both loops. So 6 blue, 1, 2, 3, and remember the blue is always back loop only. 4, 5, 6. Switch. Now we have 3 white, but again this first one, it's coming after a white one from the previous round, so we've got to go through both loops so that the white yarn can actually touch each other to give us our pattern. So 3, first one's through both loops, last 2 are just the back loop. At the end of the repeat, switch back to the blue. So that's it. 6 blue, 3 white, and that first white wants to be through both loops, not just the back loop. That's the repeat. Go ahead and do it 6 times around. End each repeat with the blue so that you can start the next repeat with blue, and on the very final round, or very final repeat rather, end with the blue yarn by switching to the blue yarn at the end of the stitch, so that the next round they're actually all blue stitches, but you'll be ready to start that one off. So round 21, 6, 3, that's it. Go all the way around. Okay, so we finished the last round of the pattern. You end with those 3 white single crochet. As I said at the end of the last repeat, make sure you switch to the blue so we can start there. Now the next 2 rounds are just all blue. So we'll start that one and then I'll show you the next round too to remind you. After that though, we're going to need the white again. So it's up to you if you want to hold the white yarn or just let it stay there, do your 2 rounds and then pick it up again. But for 2 rounds, I tend to cut it so that I can just have 1 yarn. I'm not worried about things getting all knotted up. It's up to you, but if you go ahead and cut it, just make sure you pull that stitch tight. That last stitch tends to want to loosen up again, so you sort of tug it a little tight. And now hold that tail inside the stitches as you go. So as I said, this is just blue all the way around, back loop only, 54 stitches total. It's not a bad idea as we start getting to these plain rows again, if you want to mark where the previous row ended or where this one began, so that you know that you've gotten to the starting point, because these rounds are a little harder to see where they start and finish. So 54 all the way around. I will see you when you're done. All right, we're going to start round 23, but I actually flipped the work over so you can see it the way it'll look. Ultimately, once it's stuffed, this is the top of the octopus head. And once this blue round is here, it's a little easier to see the pattern. So it's these swirls that kind of look like waves that continue around. So that's what you've been working on right there. It takes a while for it to actually appear, but that's what all that hard work was for. And it's why we did those 2 loops instead of 1 for these white stitches right here and right here, so that they connected up so that you actually saw it as a single curly Q. So you just did a round of all blue. Now you get to do it again. Round 23 is next, and it is once again 54 blue. You want to, at the end, have your last stitch switch to the white yarn, which means before the end, say 10-15 stitches before the end, make sure you join in that white yarn. So 1 more blue all the way around, switching to white at the end, so make sure you join that white yarn back in if you cut it before, like I did. So I'll see you when you've finished that round. So we've just done our 2 all blue rounds. That was round 22 and 23. I warned you that we're going to need to switch to white for this next round, so if you had cut it like me, you needed to join it somewhere back here. So I think I joined it right around here and just carried it and the tail in these last few stitches. and then in the very last stitch of the round switch to the white so that I can start this round with it. Now this round is all white, so it is 54 white. I'm going to leave the blue attached because I need to switch to blue in the last stitch so that the next round can start with blue. One more thing, at the very end of the round with about, again, 8 to 10 stitches left, I'm going to join the brown in. So for a little bit we do have 3 different strands of yarn connected, but we're really only carrying this one for right now. This blue one is just going to hang out in the background, so just don't get it tangled up, but just leave it there. And then at the last bit of the round we'll connect the brown in and we'll hold that in the stitches. So 54 white stitches all the way around. Connect the brown in towards the end, and in your very last stitch switch back to the blue variegated yarn so we can start the next round with that blue. There you go. I'll catch you on the flip side. Alright, I'm just about to do my last stitch from the last round. This white stitch, remember we're going to end it with the blue. So I have that there, and also I had warned you to go ahead and join the brown in. So we do have 3 things connected right now, but that's only going to last for a few seconds here. So this brown is what we're going to use in the next round. So make sure you joined that in. If you didn't, rip out a few stitches, join the brown in, and then go back over those stitches. This is it for us for the white for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. The next few rounds are just going to bounce back and forth between the blue and the brown. It is a pattern, but it's nowhere near as crazy as this. It's actually pretty straightforward, and it's going to be the same thing for a few rounds, but we'll do each one separately so you see it. So for right now, when I start this round, I'm going to carry the brown in the stitches and the tail to the white. So I got a couple things I've got to hold in those stitches, at least until the white tail ends. So for this round, it is going to be 4 blue followed by 5 brown. That's it, all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and you may see me tightening the stitches at the end of each one. I find when I carry more yarn, I instinctively make the single crochet a little bigger. I still want the stitches to be tight enough to hide the yarn, so when I do it, if I feel at the end it's too big, I just sort of tap on the yarn to bring it down. So we want 4 blue, but like I had warned, we're going to switch now to the brown, so I had to undo that little stitch. Here we'll switch to the brown. Now I'm still going to carry that white tail if I have some left, and the blue from before inside my stitches, and now I want 5 brown. 1, 2, 3. Get some more room here. 4 and 5. So you'll notice the repeat is still 9 stitches long, 4 blue, 5 brown, and at the end of this brown we're going to switch back to the blue, and for the very last stitch of the repeat you're going to do the same thing. So your next round is going to start with the blue. So 4 followed by 5. Go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around. Hold the white yarn in the stitches until you've gone a ways, and I actually have gone pretty much far enough, but I'll hold it for a couple more. Repeat it 6 times around. Again, on your very last stitch, make sure that you switch it back to the blue so we can start the next round on blue. And that's it. I'll see you for the next round. Alright, we just finished round 25. Moving on to round 26, and the good news is it's exactly the same. So for 26, we're still going to go back and forth between the blue variegated, which is green right now for me, and the brown. The way it's going to work, the exact same pattern, so 4 blue followed by 5 brown, switch back to the blue at the end, just like we did here for the very last stitch of the round. So basically, if you're the blue variegated, do the variegated above it. If you're the brown, do the brown above it. And that's it for the entire round. So one more time around, this is round 26. Exactly the same as the last one. So I will meet you again at this point after that round, where we'll have 2 of these piled up on top of each other. So we've just finished the second round of this part of the pattern. That was round 26. I hope you like both these because you get to do it one more time. This is the last time for this one. Again, 4 blue, 5 brown. The only difference with this round is somewhere in the towards the end, go ahead and connect the white yarn back in because the next round is going to be all white, just to finish this out. So it starts with the all white. We're going to have 3 rounds of this blue-brown alternating, and then another round of the white. So for right now, we're on round 27. Again, 4 blue, 5 brown. Go ahead, connect the white towards the end, and in the very last stitch, you're going to switch to the white yarn at the end. So instead of here having blue ready to go, the end of this round, make sure the white is ready to go. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Just continue the same exact pattern, repeat it, and I'll see you on the flip side so we can start the next round.